online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Constantine fans. Welcome to the AfterBuzz After Show for Constantine. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. I've got a full panel. We got Isaac Johnson.
Hello, everyone.
Tauri Miller.
Hey, hey.
And we are talking about the latest episode. I'm not even going to try to say it.
No?
No.
Let's give it a shot. Come on.
Nope. Tari?
Danse Vaudou.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
wasn't so hard.
Danse Vaudou.
No, it's not hard. I just written.
Okay.
Have you seen it written?
I am looking at it written now.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. That's not how I
Dancey
spell it.
voodoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dance Voodoo. Well, that was fun.
Interesting sound.
This episode takes us to New Orleans.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Or New Orleans, as non-New Orleans people say.
Nolans.
Or that, New Orleans. Yeah, we're taking there after we see Zed really connect with the map. She's now basically intertwined with the map.
She has some sort of psychic connection with the map.
Yeah, we get to see that
The zoetrope.
xylophone, the xylophone.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tauri. I'll be providing the words today.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
All big words will be provided by Tari.
Yeah. Well, she initially doesn't have the connection, though, right?
Yeah.
She's kind of lost it.
Yeah.
But then they're like, we can fix this. Boom, fixed. And Zed leads them to New Orleans,
Yes.
which is fun to say. And we meet Jimmy the cop. I'm calling him Jimmy.
His name is Jim Corgan.
Yeah, but when he was a child, he was Jimmy.
Sure.
And we find out that there's kind of a connection between him and Zed, which I was so excited. I was like, oh, are we going to get more backstory? Kind of.
A little.
A
Yeah, a little
little.
bit.
Like a tease of backstory. But really what takes us to New Orleans is a model, let's say, who stabbed some people. And when Jimmy was trying to shoot her, she wouldn't die. They bounced off her.
Did they bounce off her? Or did she absorb them?
It's kind of absorbed.
She kind of absorbed. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah, well, I was surprised that he was able to be that good of a shot, given that he seemed a bit inebriated.
Right, he seemed drunk. He
Yeah,
stumbled
was
out of a
drunk.
bar.
You don't really piss in an alleyway sober. I don't.
I was gonna be like, speak for
Yeah,
yourself.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
That
fair
just
enough.
shows how good of a shot he is, that he can be accurate while
Also, it was
drunk.
like this distance.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was really
He
close.
could have
Okay.
closed his eyes and still hit her.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, he did fire off a handful.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
Is that the scientific unit? That was a handful of bullets.
Yeah. Is that not how you measure things? I measure things in handfuls.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we later find out that there's also another accident, murder. And we meet a little boy named Philip, who is a ghost. I'm calling him a little boy. He's a college dropout.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's a little boy. No?
Nah. Little boy implies he's 5 years old, wandering on the side of the freeway.
Say 10 and under is a little boy.
Whatever. He's a child in my
He's a
eyes.
teenager at
he
the
is
very
young.
least. Yeah.
He's 19, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
They may
He's
have
a
given him age.
teenager.
Child. So he's a college dropout who is hitchhiking. He gets into this car with a creeper.
Yeah.
And all I could think was, come on, Philip, are you really surprised? This is what happens when you hitchhike. Is that not the understanding everyone else has?
I've never hitchhiked before, so I don't really have an understanding of what happens.
Uh-huh.
I guess now I won't.
Yeah.
Though that surprised me mostly because you always expect the hitchhiker to be the super duper murdery one, which he kind of was. But it flipped it where it was like, oh no, this guy picking him up is he's a pedo.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Well,
really,
he's not a pedo for claiming he's not a little boy.
Yeah.
Nah.
I guess so.
Sorry, too much SVU. Sorry, guys.
I don't know. I guess it wasn't like his smoothest move to like, oh, it's a little cold in here. Maybe we can warm things up. I'm like, don't you have a better line than that? I don't know.
I mean, I feel like, you know, if, for anyone who's seen Jay and Silent Bob, for example, there are rules when you're hitchhiking. There are rules.
Okay.
If you're trying to get a ride, you will then repay them, which is why it's from Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see the movie. I don't.
Strike
I don't
back.
know. Yeah.
Go watch it.
Yeah.
Right after this
Sounds
podcast.
delightful.
Thank you.
This podcast is not sponsored by Jay and Silent Bob.
No. So Philip, you know, then pops out of the car, is in front of the car, covered in blood, and the creeper hits a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we now have 2 murder victims. Mm-hmm. Why? How are they connected? Well, Constantine, and I'm really glad Chaz and Zed and Constantine are all working together. I'm glad we have the team together finally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the first time that they're working as a team.
Yeah. Ever since the last time we met Papa Midnight. So a few episodes ago, that was the
Well,
last time.
Chaz was brought in. He didn't start as
Oh.
part of the team.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I was excited. I've been waiting for this moment, and we get a tiny bit more info on Chaz, maybe?
A little bit.
I mean,
Yeah.
He
Well-
knows how to cook.
he knows, we knew that. But also he heals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I would have liked some more explanation on like how he heals, but I think we're gonna
Right?
get that backstory in a couple episodes, I guess. But
Yeah.
it'd be nice to know. But it was cool to see him heal
Mm-hmm.
because I did wonder like what happened with him and the whole like electrocution or whatever from the pilot.
Right.
So it was cool to see his body like mend back together, and I guess he knew he had to be the one to go on that mission
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I like how we saw each of them babysitting a ghost, because later we have Charles, who died of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Clark.
Clark.
Oh
All right.
yeah, yeah. Cool.
So Charles, let me explain where I got Charles.
Because he's in charge.
No. When they went to the place where the dead bodies are,
Yeah.
under him was Charles. And so I was like, Charles, there it is. Him. Yeah. So we find out that each of these murderers, I'm going to call them, are actually victims themselves. And that they kind of were risen because the people who feel guilty about their deaths asked to speak with them through Papa Midnight.
Right.
Which takes us to Papa Midnight, who's back. And he has to work with Constantine this episode,
Yeah.
which is so different. What did you guys think about the idea of them working together?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I think I said this a couple episodes ago, but I want him to be part of the team like all the time, like every time, because they work together really well, and their banter is really fun, and they're always trying to screw each other over, so that's always nice. It's a good element.
Yeah, I don't know how often it's gonna happen, but I think that they had to at this point because I don't know. It seemed like Papa Midnight feels some sort of responsibility with his voodoo. Which what does Constantine call it? Like voodoo is like it's like an excuse to have a party or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's a magical excuse to party.
Yeah.
Yeah. One, it seemed it was cool to see that like Papa Midnight's approach to like voodoo or magic or whatever you want to call it is like comes from like a real traditional place, and then Constantine is kind of like, which I guess Papa Midnight calls him like a jackass of all trades or whatever.
Yeah,
So
that
this
was
is
such a good line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's cool to see that he comes from it from like he just wants to like use it somehow, but he doesn't necessarily respect it, and he has to sort of come to a place of like respecting it. And that's some cool character growth there.
I also really enjoyed that Papa Midnight points out that Constantine just makes up his own stuff.
Yeah,
And that because he's so traditional, he's able to do more things that Constantine can't do.
right.
Yeah.
And Constantine needs Papa Midnight. He's like, I want to talk to your sister in hell, which is a huge,
Yeah,
like, what? I want to know about Papa Midnight's sister, who's in hell,
Yeah.
who he communicates with, who can give us information about the darkness that is rising.
yeah.
I want that. And I'm like, we're not going to see Papa Midnight for another, like, 6 episodes
Probably.
Now that they were like, hey, here's stuff you want. Bye.
This guy's too useful. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Well, they gotta have 22 episodes, so.
Yes, but I want answers. I'm a really impatient TV watcher. I'm always like, I want answers to this and I want answers to that.
I mean, we get a little bit, and it leads to a good amount of speculation. Like, I mean, we'll go into it during predictions, but like they give us enough to kind of chomp on.
Yeah. So you have lots of predictions, is what you're saying.
Prediction, yes.
I'm excited to get there. All right. So we have our model friend and her model friend who feels guilty. We have Philip and his mother. Grandmother?
Yeah.
I thought she was the grandmother. Okay. Grandmother. I apologize.
Yeah.
And then Clark and his wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure it all out. We have this watch thing. I'm calling it a watch thing.
Oh, yeah, the thing that can, like, detect.
The crystal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns blue if there's a spirit around or if there's just been a spirit.
Right. And it's red if they're actually, like, right there.
There's, like, a green.
Green means that they're in the vicinity, which is very similar to the blue in like, concept, not in color.
Well, blue just means that they were there at some point. You know, green means that they're kicking it down the street.
Then what is red?
Red, it means that they're like
All they said was
tapping
red
on your
is something.
shoulder.
Red means we wouldn't have been here. Red is
Yeah.
scary. Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's a distant system. It's like if you were a submarine and you had missiles coming at you. It's like, all right, you know, there's residue of explosions. All right, and then the missiles are on our radar, and then boom, it's within the inner circle, so it's red because it's like right about to hit you.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was sharp.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about Philip in the car with Zed and Jimmy.
Okay.
Jimmy. His mama called him Jimmy. I can
called him Jimmy.
I can call him Jimmy.
As a man, he introduced himself as Jim Corgan.
Yeah, and then Zed goes, Jimmy.
Well, because she put together that he was the boy from her vision that
Right.
she initially started having, which I guess I would have thought she would have had visions about the other two, but maybe somehow like that, the blood on the map is somehow related to him.
Well, I think at the end we kind of got that.
Yeah.
Which, especially because we never see him interact with other police, really.
Yeah. I don't.
Maybe he's
true.
a ghost.
Yeah, I don't know that he's a ghost. I mean,
I'm dead serious. Maybe he's a ghost.
I don't know. Well, he's him and Constantine share like a darkness. Like that's how like Constantine can do kind of what he does. Like he has this like darkness, his soul's damned. I think that because in the comics, Jim
Tell
is
us about it.
well, I don't really know a ton about it, but in the comics, you know him as the Spectre, and I just know that he's like a character that has. Like kind of like in this episode, like he's introduced to like this dark world, and then he's kind of like flipped on his head. That's how it goes in the comic, and he, I guess he's the Spectre. I don't remember much about the Spectre; it was a long time ago, but
Gotcha.
But he and Constantine share like the same sort of darkness, so I don't know that he's like a spirit, but I think that he certainly has something. Because I don't know, has Zed ever touched Constantine before and seen something? I know that Liv did, but
I don't know. I don't think so.
I
Yeah,
don't think they've
so either.
touched yet.
But
They will.
Yeah. Mostly in the lip region.
Yeah, he did
Oh, is that
mention
where you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he did say like that, like I only respect people that I slept with or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that thing with at the end with Zed and Jim was like more of a premonition, like, oh, you're gonna get shot to death, like her seeing his
She's a
death.
psychic, yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Okay. I thought that as well, but as we started talking, I realized that, when we first see him in the alleyway, he's alone. When we see him later, when our team gets to the alleyway, he's alone.
Yeah.
When Constantine gets arrested, he doesn't really interact with the other police, and then he takes Constantine to the precinct or whatever, and they're alone in a room, and he brings in the files.
Yeah.
And so it started to make me wonder, similar to your Manny theory.
As they both, he and Manny don't exist.
Yeah, is that no? I thought that he was more like a Bruce Willis, situation.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
That would hold
It
up.
is been so many years.
Yeah, she didn't even like. And they don't even know what she's talking. Like, she
Yeah,
didn't
I just
even
said
try
Bruce
hard.
Willis.
Okay.
Clearly, it's the Fifth Element, guys.
Yeah.
Though I would argue that the lady who got killed at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
saw him. She was like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
walking down the aisleway with
The model.
With yes, we're the model, but she acknowledged that he existed because he showed her the badge. And
Right.
She's like, New Orleans finest, etc. And also, he drives a car.
Well, so
Yeah.
our model holds scissors,
Yes.
and Philip has a backpack and gets in a car, opening the door.
Okay.
These are like.
And we even say, sorry to interrupt you, but they say each of these ghosts are playing by their own rules.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like she died by scissors, or I mean, her face was all
Yeah,
cut
she
up.
was cut up and then she killed herself.
Yeah.
With pills.
Yeah, and then Philip had the backpack with him when he died
Because
in
he
the
was,
car.
because he was
Yeah.
leaving school. But I will say this about the model. I love when it's her versus Chaz. And he starts asking questions and that
Yeah.
stops her.
Like he starts playing the question game, and he's like, "I can't believe it took me this long
Yeah.
to start
Yeah.
asking me questions."
But it's just because that really resonated with the, they're playing by their own rules. Philip
Sure.
gets out of the car when, Zed tells him that it's okay. And like sometimes, you need to be kicked out of the house and like learn to live and whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, pull over here. Like, let me out. I'm not going to hurt
Yeah.
you. And then the model, she won't stab you if you ask her questions. What? That is the greatest. I can't wait to meet a ghost to try it,
But you got to figure out what their rules are.
Yeah.
No, I want to try the questions thing.
Question game.
Yeah. I think that was my favorite part of the whole episode. Because then we see Chaz is still there asking her questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I thought maybe Philip was just like bored. Like he's just like, "Oh, this chick won't play my game. Like, let me get out of the car."
Right.
No. I don't know.
Like he was upset or something. Like, but I
Yeah.
wanted to kill you.
But I mean, I think you're wrong. I think I think
Go
that
on.
yes, I think that
Yeah.
that he gets out of the car because
Oh yeah, he obviously does.
Right.
He's just making a joke.
oh, okay. I was just explaining that you're wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm right.
You are correct.
Good. Moving on.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
It really bothered me that she was like not watching the road the entire
Yeah, I
time.
know. I was like, you're in a car with this guy who's trying to make you crash.
Basically, yeah, like his whole thing is like exactly what it is. And really dangerous to pick him up in the car, which is like I don't know. I guess pretty smart, but super dangerous to like. Well, if we pick him up, then no one else can
Right.
like die or whatever. But then like he's in the car and like you're just like driving with your eyes in the rear view the whole time. Like what does he do? He makes people crash.
Yeah,
He drives on the road.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, let Jimmy drive. You sit in the passenger seat so you can talk to him. And also, like, as you get closer to the place, there's a place specifically he wants
Yeah.
you to
Yeah.
crash.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah, exactly.
Or stop. And instead, she decided to drive through him.
Yeah, well, at least she knew it was coming, so she wasn't gonna freak out and pull
Right.
off the road or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I
it's just like that's one of my like, and it's not any like fault of like the writers or anything like that, but like it's one of my pet peeves on like TV that
Oh,
like,
when
sometimes
people aren't looking at the road?
actors who drive like they're not looking at the road. I'm like, look at the road.
no, I have the same problem. It also bothers me a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. It was very
No
frustrating.
disrespect to the actress. It was just kinda
No.
like I'm
Or-
sure she was told to do that. but,
Right,
like,
right. It's just a movie magic thing that
Yeah.
we can't get past.
Right.
Drive without watching the road.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I drive in normal life. I just kind
Okay.
of look in my rear view. I use my phone and things.
Okay.
I assume that if I'm doing something wrong, someone will honk.
It's a good system.
Making me so uncomfortable. Kids, don't
Wait.
drink and drive. Don't text and drive.
Yeah.
Don't text or read your text or tweet or Snapchat and drive. Please.
Just in general, keep your eyes on the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
This has been a PSA by the Constantine panel.
Yeah. Speaking of PSAs, guys, let's talk about iTunes. Yeah, it's not a PSA, but I want to talk to you guys about
Yeah,
iTunes.
let's do.
We clearly like talking about the show and talking about driving jokes. And we do this because we want to, and we love the show, and we love talking to you guys. So thank you for tuning in, streaming, watching, downloading, all that good stuff. And congrats to our Constantine bag winner,
Yeah,
who
that was a cool
tweeted out a
picture.
photo.
Yeah.
Leah.
Yeah. But also, we want to let you guys know that there's one very simple thing we ask of you. One simple, easy. Go onto iTunes and rate and review our show. let us know how we're doing. If you like us, give us 5 stars. If you don't like us, that's fine. I get it. I see how it is. Feel free to leave us 4 stars. Although if you're listening this far in, I'm going to make an assumption that you love us.
It's quite possible.
Yeah. And leave a comment. Let us know what we're doing well, what we could be doing better.
You know who does love us?
Who?
McCoy4217, he says, the crew seems to know more about the Lord. It makes this a better listen.
Oh.
And something about he looks forward to it every week. Also,
something about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thanks.
Not a good reader. And also, someone else says, great listen. These are both 5-star reviews, by the way.
Boom.
No 4 stars here. I don't know how to say that. AKSUXJD. Love the podcast and the host. Which host do you love? You didn't
This
say the
one.
host. Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
I love that the hosts don't hold everything against the source material. I also like when they discuss locations on the show. Being from Atlanta, it's awesome seeing my city in this creepy light.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Atlanta's amazing. I hear it's a really great place, especially to film and stuff.
Yeah.
Do shows. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for commenting. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll shout you out on the next show if you comment.
Yeah. And just real quick, if you comment and review us, it's easier for us to get guests. That's right. We are working on getting guests. So even if your comment is get Zed on the show, which, we should totally get Zed on the show.
It wouldn't be a bad idea to have her in here.
No. She'd sit next to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let her do that.
We'll draw straws.
Okay. So let us leave comments and let us know who you want. Also review so that we can be like, look, people love us, and we'll get guests in that voice. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
So Constantine and Papa Midnight do, after stealing bodies, they do some, I'm going to call it some hocus pocus because it's kind of made up by Constantine.
Yeah, his stuff is made up. Papa Midnight's pretty serious.
Well, I mean, it seemed like Constantine was like, I got this. Like, let me tell you what we're going to do. Here's what you're going to say and do. And Papa Midnight went with it, and then nothing happened. And Papa Midnight yelled at him, rightfully so, that, he's making stuff up and he's not doing what he needs to, and that this isn't how it's going to be, and that something is messing with his magic.
Yeah, well, what do you think the reason is that Constantine won't, because he was saying something about he didn't want a spirit to go in his body or something, but
he said that he spends so much time pulling spirits out of people.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's more to that, Tauri.
Well, what he was saying is that since he's an exorcist, he's always basically breaking possessions, and the way that voodoo works is you let the gods work through you.
Right.
And so Papa Midnight was essentially saying that the reason why it wasn't working is because Constantine wasn't letting the gods work through him, but Constantine is completely opposed to anything basically using his body as a medium.
Do we think that's maybe even tied to Astra, that whole situation? Maybe how he called up that other demon, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
That idea didn't cross my mind, but now it has.
He just seemed very opposed to, to that idea, and I thought maybe that was tied to the whole Newcastle group or something. I don't know. Probably.
I mean, it definitely could have been. It also could have been, the way Constantine started, really. Because, when you start something, you don't know what you're doing, even if you do.
Yeah.
And you're feeling it out and figuring it out, and he probably made that kind of mistake.
Sure.
Right. And it's like how doctors, essentially, as they're doing their practice, they become more cautious of things that can hurt your body. And so I think that's his whole thing as well.
Okay.
I like that you compared Constantine to a doctor.
But not the doctor.
Yeah, I was going to say, it
doctor.
is similar to Doctor.
No, it's not. They just make references.
Well, I mean, he does go place to place, exercising
with a companion.
Yes.
Oh, dang it! He is in a taxi,
And he has a very specific outfit that he always wears.
Oh my goodness!
By the way, that tie never moves. You'd think at some point it would be up or down, but depending on the day.
I thought about the tie.
Yeah.
So first off, it's not always a red tie.
Is it not?
I think last episode it was a black or blue tie,
Okay,
and I remember being like, "What? It's not red." And I think so. Here's my thought: is that he doesn't seem to be the cleanest person. So in my mind, the tie is so it's never been in a washing machine, and therefore it's stiff. And so he just like
It
pulls
does-
it on and off. Like that's how he does it. In my mind, that's where it is. Because
That's looking pretty stiff. He is like pretty clean though for a guy that wears like the same outfit every day. Like that shirt is still like crisp white. Like he just got it from the dry cleaner.
the jacket isn't and his face isn't.
I feel like his shirt and jacket should be like way dirtier.
Yeah. Especially after the mining episode.
Yeah.
He threw away that shirt and jacket. I imagine his closet is just these things, like just his trench coat, white shirts, and then these stiff ties.
Yeah.
It's like the Einstein thing where you always, like, you just buy the same
Mm-hmm.
clothes.
That's what I figured because they're all like, well, I don't know, that coat is pretty clean to me too, but I don't know. I might be overthinking it.
No. I like this discussion, and I want the fans to join in for
Yeah.
sure.
Tell us what you think about Constantine's outfit. How dirty should it be?
It should be way dirtier, man.
Oh, sorry, we meant like unclean. I was thinking something else because it should definitely. Be
Oh, you want him to
dirtier.
wear something else?
Yeah, something
What
dirtier.
specifically do you want to see him wear?
Lingerie,
There's
women's
no,
lingerie.
Women's lingerie. I was gonna say, there's not really man lingerie.
No,
It's-
he looks so good. And anyway, where were we?
Matt Ryan, please come on our show and wear some lingerie.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, guys, if we get 15 comments, I'm putting it out there, 15 comments on iTunes that have mentioned to Matt Ryan wearing women's lingerie, I will talk to people that I know at NBC and try to get him over here in maybe lingerie. That is what I'm going to do for our fans. 15 comments that talk about him in lingerie.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll just take you on the show, Matt, if you even listen to this.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about Papa Midnight and what he hears from his sister in the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
His sister says that all of his efforts are in vain. This is regarding the darkness that is rising.
Right.
Yes.
And that someone close to Constantine will betray him.
Yeah.
Anyone else get a Jesus vibe there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Judas kind of thing.
Yes.
Well,
I was
I
thinking
don't.
more Julius Caesar, Beware the Ides of March.
Yeah.
But we'll go for that.
Sure.
No, I'm the only one who was like, Jesus, he's Jesus.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I feel like I want to say who I think it is, but I feel like that's like a production, so I can't.
Well, let's talk about this statement. Papa Midnight's sister
Yeah.
in hell.
Yeah, her skull.
So weird.
Oh man, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like it's also odd because I don't know if there's a Christian hell in the voodoo practices. So like there's all these collaborations of theologies,
Right.
And the ending of this the spell that they were casting basically says that yes, the voodoo gods are a thing because it worked through Papa Midnight.
Right.
Also, Papa Midnight is super cool about having his sister in hell. Like it's not even a big deal to him.
No.
It's weird.
I feel like, and I really hope they explain this, I feel like there's like, she's there to help him. Like it was a decision, you
Yeah.
know, to put his sister there so that he, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like espionage.
Yeah.
In hell.
Yes. Or to to give him
undercover.
powers because
Yeah.
he needs, he needs demons
insight,
and
yeah.
stuff to go through and whatever. And so she's down there helping.
Right.
No? Okay.
I mean, I
don't
can see
know.
it.
Don't know that. Well, I guess in this world, there definitely is like a heaven and hell, God and Satan. We've had them both referenced.
Right.
So I'd imagine it's like that specific hell. But I can't imagine anyone would actually want to go there.
Maybe she is like the right hand woman of Satan or something.
Well, I don't know if it's like the biblical hell. It's like an endless suffering. So
Right.
I don't think that you can be like the right hand man and be like eternally burning.
I'm thinking more like Little Nicky, where like there's Satan and his sons
Right.
and like their assistant and the guy with the boobs on his head. Man, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
And by good, I mean I enjoyed it, not that it was good.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not good, but I was an extra in that movie.
Were
Oh, really?
you?
Yeah, I've never actually seen the film.
I'm gonna
I
go
was
rewatch
there.
it.
I was there in like the basketball scene or whatever. I don't think I actually made it, but
Nice.
I'm gonna go rewatch it.
yeah, my long illustrious acting resume. That's one of the things. It's not on there. No.
But I mean, well, she can't be suffering too much if she's relaying. All
Yeah,
these
if
messages.
if she's able to speak to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there like what's purgatory? Is like purgatory? It's like the waiting room, but is that the waiting room to hell or to
It's-
heaven?
It's neither,
It's neither.
right?
Well, all right. Purgatory is the waiting area before heaven. Limbo is a spot in between.
So maybe she's in limbo. Maybe she's in limbo. That would make sense.
But then how does she know what's going on in hell?
Because sometimes she bends so low that she can see
Nice.
in hell.
I see what you did there.
He does call it like the hotline to hell or something and talk to his sisters. So
Yeah.
maybe it's actual hell. I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I want to see. Sorry. Go
No,
on.
go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say, I mean, there's also the chance that she just died and he's like, well, this is convenient.
Sure.
Making the best.
Whatever. That's a boring.
I know, but it has to be said. I can't have people on the internet going, well, this could have happened, because I know it could have happened, and I just said it.
Oh.
Great. I want to see, hopefully, how Papa Midnight and Constantine met. I want that. I don't,
yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know if I'm weird or if everyone's like this, but I really like origin stories. I really like the idea of seeing, like, once you meet two characters, like, then seeing how they met and, like, how they got to where they were. I like finding out people's backstories. I want answers about Chaz. That's what I want.
Yeah. I don't like origin stories, but
Okay, so
I'd rather just see how we get there. I don't want to see the...
It depends. Like, if it happens to be like a really good story, like like it builds upon what we already know, like, then I think that's good.
Sure.
If it's just like a random like throwaway where it's like Papa Midnight and John Constantine ran into each other in a store one day, they became bitter enemies because they wanted to buy the same cupcake.
When has that ever been an origin story?
It happens sometimes.
No, it's always something like, we were on a case together and we did work together, but then he did this to betray me. That's usually how it is.
Right.
Like, here's a boring case that we worked together. Origin stories.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we learn about Zed.
Okay.
We find out that Zed was a runaway.
Yeah.
She changed her name, which goes back to the "who says that my parents are the people who named me" comment she made a few episodes ago.
Right, yeah.
And it seems that Jimmy used to work missing persons.
Yeah.
And he's really good at faces. It only takes him like 3 days to remember.
It's a pretty quick turnaround. I don't know.
I'm really good at faces.
Well, I felt like he recognized her the first time they met.
Yeah.
He just didn't like put a
Place
name
it.
to it. I mean, because he obviously hasn't been in that department in a really long time. So I understand him not being like, oh, you're Sally Sue from New Orleans and you were missing because you had abusive parents.
Yeah, also when she went missing in the missing persons file, she would have probably been a lot younger. So you have to like age her
I'm
face.
just saying the statement, I'm really good at faces, or I'm really good with faces. Like, no, you're not.
I don't know. Don't you have like...
You're okay with faces.
Yeah, but you're really good at looking at files.
Yeah,
Yes.
Well, don't you have like people that you like knew from high school that have like changed somehow and like
Yeah.
you don't recognize them right away?
Yeah, I'm not good with faces.
Okay, well I'm just saying maybe it's like that. Maybe it's like it takes you a while to be like, oh, I know you from Mrs.
No,
so-and-so's
because
file.
I would never say I'm good with faces.
Okay.
Anyway,
He matched the model too. He's good with faces.
he is okay. I'll take it.
She even had a surgical mask on. That's you gotta give him couple extra points
Yeah,
for that.
all eyes
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and a banging body.
seriously. He then he matched the model by her story, by the scissors, and
Sure.
the fact that she was really pretty, had scissors and said, "Do you think I'm pretty? Do you think I'm pretty?" Chaz, genius. And then when he found her, he saw pictures of her with the surgical mask, which is how he like confirmed.
Right.
Sure.
Boom.
Seemed fairly convenient that she was wearing that in the photo as well, the surgical mask. But I guess.
I mean, it was
like a
after
shoe.
her. I think it was after her thing.
Yeah, I guess
Oh,
it was
yeah.
after her injury.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's interesting to me is, did she kill herself wearing the surgical mask? Like, if she took a bunch of pills?
Probably. I mean, why wouldn't she? I imagine that she, being someone who is in a profession that specializes in beauty, wouldn't even want to see her own face, and it's the reason why she took her own life.
Right. I just imagining her taking whatever pills and then getting into bed or whatever comfortable position.
Right.
Which in my mind, not that I've thought about this and this
Also
might be
in
super
lingerie.
morbid, also in lingerie, but like I would put on something comfortable, you know?
Right.
Maybe that was comfortable for her.
Yeah.
All right. I think she also was wearing a trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I understand that Constantine finds that comfortable.
Yeah, very comfortable.
All right, sure. The fans are going to be like, yeah, you are on crack tonight. What you're talking about. So anyway, Jimmy lets us know that Zed is a runaway and that he's not going to update her file with her new name and where she is and who she's with.
I think he said he deleted it, right?
Yeah, he said it's gone. Like,
yeah, it's no longer an open missing persons file.
Good man.
Yeah.
It's disappeared.
Because I think we're supposed to assume that her parents abused her.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't think that, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I went with an abusive family as well. Or foster care.
Yeah.
That's what I went with, but I watch SVU. Yeah.
Well, the fact that there was a missing persons for her would make me less inclined towards foster care.
Mm-hmm.
True, yeah.
Because the people who put it out were following her, because he mentions that there was a surveillance footage of her stealing like a cheese sandwich or an apple or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like if it was foster care, they wouldn't be following up as much. Whereas if it was like her real family, no matter how abusive they were,
Sure.
they would be like, hey, where's that punching bag we used to have?
That was mean.
It was mean.
Yeah, well, there, I mean, for abusing her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they said too.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we've covered this episode. Is there anything that you feel we have missed? Don't know.
I guess not.
Nope.
I thought there was, but can't remember.
Is
Look
it
at my
the
notes.
guilt?
Everyone look at my notes.
Okay. Is it the guilt?
Why don't we talk about that?
The guilt that
Oh, yeah.
everyone felt?
Oh, yeah, because, like, Papa Midnight starts talking to Constantine, like, does he want to talk to his mother? And he's got guilt about her.
Yeah, we did have a nice bring back. I totally forgot about her because we haven't mentioned her since the first
pilot,
episode
yeah.
when he talked to Liv about it. Which makes me wonder why he hasn't... I mean, I get why he hasn't said anything to Zed about it, but, like, it would be nice if we could get him to remind us about it every once in a while.
I suppose so. He just does... Well, I guess, why did he really open up to Liv, though? Like...
But they were on the roof, and she was
the
bait.
donut roof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was bait. Yeah. So I think he had to give her something.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Maybe we'll put Zed in harm's way. More than we already have.
For him to be vulnerable, somebody has to be in harm's way, maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Sort of. I mean, he talked about his dad a little bit. That was a thing. But yeah.
He's not that open of a character. I think even like all of his quippy stuff is just a way for him to deal with all this dark stuff and spirits and whatnot. Like, it's a way for him to deal with it, whereas like Jim probably deals with it by like being like, oh man, this stuff is real and I gotta deal with it. But
Jimmy.
Yeah. I didn't like that the solution to the problem was that the people just had to forgive themselves. Like that like aggravated me a little bit.
Moral ambiguity.
It wasn't even that though. It was just like, hey guys, I know you're struggling with this thing that you've been struggling for years, but in this very moment, you should just let it go. And they're like, okay.
I agree that it was a very quick turnaround. That the woman, that Clark's wife, was like, it wasn't my fault that I wasn't there.
Yeah.
You're right.
yeah, it was the cancer.
Yeah. And that she was okay with him, like, killing her.
Yeah. I thought it was weird that she was so okay with him just being there. Like, I get that, like, she went to a voodoo priest and that's a thing, but, like...
Yeah, if you're okay with, no offense to voodoo priests, but, like, if you're okay with going to a voodoo priest to talk to your dead spouse, I think you're okay with...
Your dead spouse coming back.
Yeah.
Right, but having him in the flesh and talking through someone I feel is completely different. Like, because especially since his body was in a completely different location, so to have this corporeal being here that's taking the shape of your husband, I feel like that is odd.
Well, I mean, I think it's weird that all three of our ghosts were, like we had talked about a little bit earlier, that they are, ghosts that can move through, matter, but like they also
but
could
they can also
be
harm
solid.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. They are playing by their own rules on this show, not just the ghosts.
Sure.
The ghosts are starbursts.
Well, maybe even if even
Nice.
if you didn't like, I guess that it was like the forgiveness thing. Like maybe that's supposed to be ultimately a message to Constantine, because he's still carrying around guilt about his mother
And about Astra.
Yeah, and Astra. Well, I mean, Astra, he actually did something, but his mother, it was during birth, right? That she, like, that's why his dad calls him killer. Like, it wasn't like she died during childbirth or something. Am I remembering that incorrectly? I don't remember. No, I think that's.
I think that sounds.
I
about
think
right.
that's right.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, if he's a baby, he shouldn't have guilt about his mother dying during childbirth. It's not cool, but like, maybe they're trying to get the character to forgive himself, but he's not ready to deal with that yet.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like your theory. I
Thank you.
accept it.
Oh wow.
You feel better about the
Stamp
guilt
of
thing now?
approval, yeah.
I accept his reasoning. I feel more okay about it.
Sure. Okay.
I agree that it was interesting in a not so positive way that that the reason these people came out was because of the people's guilt.
Sorry, but before we wrap up, one
Yeah.
thing I was really excited about is to see a cigarette in Constantine's hand. He did not put it to his lips.
No.
But he looked like he had been smoking it.
Yeah, it was a shorter cigarette.
And like, I know it's like, network, they can't show somebody smoking, although they can show like Jim Corgan throwing back his flask or whatever, but like they can't show him smoking, but at least he had like a lit cigarette in his hand and it looked like he almost was going to smoke it, and then he throws it down like when he gets a drink from Papa Midnight. I was like,
And he sets everybody on fire with it.
Yeah, he does that too,
Yeah.
but even this, it looked like he had been smoking it, so
Right.
it's like, okay.
I agree. We're on Cigarette Watch 2014.
I just want to see, I think we'll never see it, but I just want to see him smoke a cigarette so badly.
I want to see him chain smoke.
That's never going to happen.
I know.
Not on network. That's never going to happen.
I just want to see him like put one out and light another one.
Yeah.
Like have one to his lips, put it out, light another one, and then take it
There's
off.
got to be some specific FCC thing about like smoking that they won't let him do it.
Probably.
Because that was the moment for him to at least take a drag before. Because
Yeah.
that's what, not that I know anything about smoking, but like that's what you do before you put it out. You take a
You
drag
take the
and
last
then-
one, yeah.
And that thing was like not even half smoked, and he tossed it. I
Yeah.
thought that's the waste of a perfectly good cigarette.
Yeah, if he was a real smoker, he would have not done it.
Yeah, exactly.
He'd have been like, no.
I have a carton in my car. It's fine.
I feel like the taxi, they don't take luggage with them. The trunk is just full of cigarettes. Yeah. That would be great. I mean, because then if, not to get real into it, but if that was the way it was, then maybe we wouldn't feel so terrible about the fact that he doesn't smoke on the show.
Right.
Because we're like, oh, okay. They're all there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, on that note, let's head into predictions.
And now,
What is this?
Your
Oh, it's a
AfterBuzz
Therapin.
TV
Oh, okay.
predictions.
That's what makes the sound.
Thanks.
Sorry. Before you do that, I did have news. You don't have to play the drop, but Guillermo del Toro. I have a hard time saying his name.
Yes.
There was a long time that they were talking about like a Justice League Dark movie that like I don't know, probably is never gonna get made. But he talked this week about that he's a fan of the show, and that he thinks that Matt Ryan would be great. Oh shoot, I forgot the character, but he thought he would be a great. Is Constantine in Justice League Dark? I'm not sure if he is.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But anyway, he talked about the actor Matt Ryan possibly being part. Like if
Being
that ever
someone
gets off
else.
the ground, like then he would be a character in that.
Oh,
Nice. That was cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
He should also direct an episode of Constantine. If you're listening, Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, that'd be
You
great.
should direct an
He's
episode.
busy making movies, man.
Hey, he did The
busy.
Strain. He can do.
Did he?
This.
Oh wow.
Well, if we're doing it, I also found that article that I spoke of last week and shared it, and I want more Chad stuff. Cool. So next week we see, if anyone saw the promo, there's a possessed kid.
Oh yeah. So creepy.
And Manny is just running around being useful. Predictions. Go ahead.
I'm gonna start this prediction with what I think that the one who is going to betray Constantine is going to be, it's got to be Manny, but if he exists.
If he's real.
But I mean, story-wise, I imagine it's going to end up being Zed, just for the sake of like drama.
Yeah.
Well, I think I think Manny's real. There was it might have been Collider. Anyway, there was an article. No, it was EW.com that the actor Charles, who plays Chaz, says that that Chaz is aware of Manny. We haven't seen that yet, but he is aware of him, so I think that he's real. But going,
that could just mean that he knows that Constantine has an imaginary friend. I'm aware that you talk to yourself.
Okay,
yes.
Sure. Well, okay, it's not dead yet. Okay. Sure, I'll go with it. But I think along the lines of what you said, as far as it being like maybe like a Judas type of thing. If it is a Judas type of thing, then Chaz is the one who's going to betray him.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
I think it's.
I hope not, though.
Yeah, I think it's almost too obvious to be Zed.
Yeah, I would think so.
And I think it's also too obvious to be. I think it's too obvious to be anyone that we've already. I know.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, knowing Constantine's track record, any of his friends could betray him at any moment.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably going to meet someone who is his longest friend aside from Chaz.
Yeah.
Who, like, knows, whatever, his ex-wife or something. And then it's going to be them. I don't know if I feel that Manny is real. I think next week is going to be moral ambiguity.
Yeah.
Again, because of the kid. I'm going to go out on a limb and say prediction that the kid to exorcise the demon will kill the child. And so we have to figure, like, they have to, decide.
Have like an Astro type situation again. Maybe.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Nice. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Any other predictions?
I think just my last one would just be like, I think we're going to keep getting introduced to character or more of the Newcastle crew. That's going to keep being a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, lastly, Manny not going to be useful next week. I think that's a safe prediction.
Nah, he's going to be useful.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
That would be.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
And if we meet any of Constantine's friends, they're probably going to die. That's my prediction.
What? His friends die? Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We had a blast. We hope you did too. Go comment and rate and review and stuff so that we can get Matt Ryan in lingerie. Tauri, where can the people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ. That's TauriJay. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV on assorted panels like the Arrow panel and the Flash panel.
Awesome. Isaac.
You can find me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson, Instagram the Isaac Johnson, and check out my YouTube page, also the Isaac Johnson. I've got a music video up there and a short.
Awesome. And of course, you can find me online at Yael.tv. There you'll find info about all the shows I do here, including, SVU. I dropped that one a lot. And many others. Also, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google+, all the usuals. At Yael Tygiel, that's YAELTYGIEL. And we'll see you next week after Thanksgiving for an all-new Constantine.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.